Hi, and welcome to Community Hotline. My name is Monica Weitzel. We're here at MetroEast Community Media in Gresham, Oregon. I'm happy to have with me tonight Marissa Moon, who is with the Children's Relief Nursery. Thanks for being here, Marissa.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you wear several hats at the Children's Relief Nursery, is that right?
I do.
So I know that you're a child and family therapist.
I am.
And you do some other things too. And I want to hear about the range of things that you are doing there. But first, can you give me just a little bit of background on the Children's Relief Nursery? Tell our viewers exactly what it is that you do there.
Absolutely. So we are a nonprofit, and we have been working in North Portland in the St. John's community for just over 11 years now. And we have a really beautiful site over on North Lombard. And what we do is we partner with families to prevent and intervene for children to prevent child abuse and neglect. So the way that we do that is we work with families and do case management that's in the home, and then we have several other services that we can chat about as well.
So are the people that you work with, are they referred to you, or do they come self-referred? How does that work?
Both, actually. So a lot of our families, especially in North Portland, because we've been there for so long, will refer themselves, or a friend or peer will refer them to us. But otherwise, we do get a lot of referrals from community health nurses, and then from the Department of Human Services, both child welfare and the self-sufficiency offices, and then various other community partners that we have in there.
And I bet you have a lot of them.
We sure do.
Yeah.
We sure do.
So when you say you're preventing child abuse, are these people, probably some of them there have been instances of abuse in the home, but maybe some of them are where it could happen, like a potential for it?
Right.
How do you judge that kind of thing?
So the way that we work is that after a referral has been made to us, or a family refers themselves, is that we would do an intake with a clinician. And so I'm one of those clinicians, and we have other folks that work on staff. And we talk to families about what are risk factors for child abuse and neglect. And so we have several risk factors that families might be experiencing at any given time. And that is how we measure if we're preventing child abuse and neglect, is if we can reduce those risk factors for families when we're working with them.
Risk factors being things like stresses in the family, such as people going through divorces and unemployment and poverty, that kind of thing?
Absolutely.
What about a history of it in a family? Is that considered a risk factor?
Absolutely. So a lot of the risk factors that we see at the Children's Relief Nursery include domestic violence or exposure to violence. It may be that they are living in poverty or don't have stable housing. It may be that the parent has multiple children and their patience can only go so far.
And that's, and some of those things are very understandable.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't make it acceptable.
Well, and it's the compounding of all of them put together that makes it for a family would be at risk for child abuse and neglect. And so what we're really trying to do is prevent, and if it's happened, prevent further incidences of the abuse and neglect.
So by preventing, I assume that's not just intervening, it's teaching those people some skills in order to cope with that?
Yeah, so when families come to us and are referred to us, we do that intake, and then all families that work with us receive a case manager. And so the case manager then goes out into the home and does what we call home visiting, and identifies with the family what are their goals. So family goals vary hugely between people. So they might be something like creating bedtime routines, because that's a real stressor in the home, or finding affordable housing, or how to enjoy time with your child again and how to be on the floor and play. So it really varies from family to family. So once that's happened, then we can identify where further services might be needed.
I like that you go at it from the angle of what are your goals as a family, rather than this is what you need to do.
Absolutely. We partner with people rather than telling people what needs to happen.
Do you find, tell me, do you find a lot of success, or is it? Can you give me an instance, obviously without saying any names, of some family that you've worked with that you felt has really benefited?
I think one of the ways that we start to see success is a little bit different than other people would. It's when families start to notice the good things that their children are doing. When families start to prevent behaviors by implementing ideas that we've had together. So I can think of families that now will say to us that they have been in places before where they were really stressed out during certain times of the day or during certain
grocery shopping with your children.
Grocery shopping is hard.
It's very hard.
And one of the things that they share with us is we do it differently now and it works better. And those are, you can see it with families and you can see them growing in their attachment, which is the core foundation of what we do is attachment work between parents and their children.
That's wonderful. I remember watching a little video from Children's Relief Nursery about with a young woman who just didn't know how to bond really with her child, and she had to learn that. And I think she didn't. Her family situation was such that there wasn't a lot of bonding with her parents, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, something you think of as what you would think would be second nature isn't second nature for everyone, depending on their circumstances or the way they've been brought up, or just the life that they live.
The other things that are getting in the way of parenting.
Yeah. And it's not easy being a parent.
It really isn't. And
rewarding,
that is one
but
of the
not
biggest
easy.
Stressors. Yeah. So the ways that another thing that we do is when the case manager has built a relationship with the family, we start to identify what that family needs in order to reduce their risk factors and to continue to prevent abuse and neglect and to enhance their protective factors, because everybody has protective factors for their children.
What do you mean by protective factors?
Ways that they can protect their child. So it might be that they start to build a community of peers that they can call when they're getting stressed out.
Oh, okay.
It just varies from family to family, but everybody has within them some protective factors, and really what we want to do is build those up and bring down the risk factors. So some of the ways that we do that is if a child needs extra help in their social emotional learning, we have a therapeutic classroom. And by therapeutic, we don't mean that we're doing mental health work with children in the classroom, but although that does happen, what we are doing is we're working on social emotional development rather than ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. That certainly comes with everything that we do. But really what we're looking at is how to help children to be in a space with each other and how to negotiate when they both want the same toy or when they have really big feelings about something that's happening. How can they get past those in order to be successful in a classroom? Because it's hard to sit still and learn when you're 5 and in school if you don't have those skills.
Yeah, it sure is. Yeah, there are some kids that learn that, maybe have a preschool setting or a babysitter setting where there's somebody who has the time and patience and the skills to teach kids that. Not everybody has that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so we work really hard at having low ratios. So one of the ways that we do that is we have this amazing volunteer coordinator that gives us volunteers in our classrooms. And it helps us to make it so that the children can get the individual attention that they need, and that will help them to be successful and to move out of our program. So we actually only work in early childhood. At our North site, we work with children from birth to 4, and at our East County site, we're working with children from birth to 3.
Okay, now you had said this was located in North Portland, but now you have an East Portland site also. So where is that located? I mean,
we're on 122nd between Stark and Division.
Okay.
We're actually in the Department of Human Services building where self-sufficiency happens and the jobs program happens. We're right there.
Good. And you are located at that.
I am personally at that location. I am the supervisor out on site, and then I also do various other jobs.
Well, that's what I was saying. You wore many hats. So you're the child and family therapist. You're the supervisor, site supervisor, and what else do you do there?
I also do the Respite program, which is another part of our core foundation of what we do. So Respite is used for families that need a break.
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
It's respite from each other. Yes. Everybody needs a break. So we offer respite to families based on if the mom maybe would need to go to a mental health appointment or to a drug and alcohol appointment, or if they need to go grocery shopping without having their children with them and they need to do a little self-care. Those are the kind of opportunities that Respite requires. So we tend to have a mixed age group in Respite. So we have children from, in East County, we have children from 6 weeks all the way up to 4.
So is this a drop-off? The kids are dropped off at your location?
Yep, for 3 hours in the morning.
Okay.
So, and they arrange that through their case manager who they already have a relationship with. And it's a wonderful service because parents are able to say goodbye and come back, and we can really build on that attachment of mommy's come back, and it's okay to be away from each other.
And mommy knows that those kids are in a safe place where they're being cared for.
Exactly.
That's kind of a scary thing too, is trying to find somebody to watch your kids just trying to find somebody to watch your kids, period, but find somebody that you can trust.
Absolutely. And so it's not the same type of intervention that our therapeutic classroom is. It's less frequent, but what we do is we also use it as a sort of monitoring stage where we can see if children require more needs, have higher needs and need to go into our therapeutic classroom. So we use it for lots of different reasons.
Good, good. Now, you're a nonprofit, so how are you funded? Do you have funding, from like the state or the county and that kind of thing, and then also donations? How does that work?
We do, and we actually get our funding from lots of different places. Most of them is from foundations, and a lot of our funding comes from in-kind donations from families and from people in the community that drop off things like clothes.
Oh, really?
Or drop off things like their toys that their children are no longer using. So we offer, as part of a relief nursery, we offer a clothes closet to supplement children's clothing, because clothing is so expensive and children grow so fast.
Yes, they do.
So we offer that as part of it.
If I, living fairly, close to the one location and working out closer to the other one, had some clothing, or the stuff I've had in my attic that belonged to my children, or toys or something like that, I could drop them off there. And
yeah, we ask for gently used items and
condition, clean,
and clean, and we pass them on to families either through home visits, or we use them in the classroom because we tend to get messy in the classroom by doing messy art or sensory-based activities, and so we always send children home in clean and dry clothing. So
I think that's a smart move.
I do too.
What about you have some fundraisers?
We do. Our annual fundraiser is actually coming up. It's on It's on April 20th, on Friday, April 20th. It's our Iron Chef event, and it's pretty exciting. It's at 6 o'clock.
Now that's at the Portland Art Museum, right?
It is. It is.
Now I meant to bring that paper and I forgot it, but I was reading about that. I know that there's 2 chefs that are competing, right? And one is the gentleman from the chef from the Country Cat.
That's true.
Which is a really good restaurant.
It is really fantastic.
And then Acadia, which it is kind of over by me, and I've been wanting to try that one. It's supposed to be really, really good. It's
wonderful.
So that'll be fun.
It is really fun. It's just like the television show Iron Chef, where they get ingredients and they have to create these meals from it, and then they're judged based on what they can create during that time.
So that's at the Portland Art Museum, April 20th. So if people are interested in getting tickets or finding out more about it, they can go to your website.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay. There are still some tickets available, but they're going fast, so people need to go quickly.
Okay, good, good. Well, I hope it's a big success. Now, this also, I understand, is Child Abuse Prevention Month.
It is.
What exactly does that mean? How do you honor that, or I don't know, we celebrate it, but how do you recognize that, I guess?
We recognize that by just bringing it to the limelight and coming on shows like this and talking about it with families, because it's really exciting that there is something that we can all talk about together and not have it as a hidden secret.
Like it used to be.
Like it used to be, absolutely. So we honor it because it's the work that we do every single day. For us, it's a year-long kind of process, but we definitely are talking about it even more with the families and the community to really shine a light on the good work that we are doing and the good, incredible work that the families that we're working with are doing.
I bet. I like the prevention aspect of it. That you're not only working with people who maybe have already fallen into that pattern of abuse, but you're trying to prevent it ahead of time. If I were to know somebody that I thought could benefit from the Children's Relief Nursery, which is a great name, by the way, because it kind of, I don't know.
Flows.
It does. What would I do? Could I tell them about it and just tell them to call?
Yeah, or you can send a referral to us as well.
You can do it that way. And,
you can do it either way.
Just a gentle, note that this person maybe could benefit from a little bit of help.
Most often folks will call with somebody or will send us a referral, but they usually have spoken to the family that they're going to make that referral.
And then respectful.
Absolutely. And then the clinician would give them a call and talk about if it's something that they would be interested in doing. We're a voluntary program, so we don't force people to work with us.
It's not court mandated or anything like that.
No, sometimes we are included in safety plans and things like that, but it's not a mandated program. We are voluntary. We want to work with folks that are wanting to work with us and do so well.
Can you use more volunteers?
We could always use more volunteers. We use volunteers in the classroom to support the children during their development and during their playtime. We also use volunteers to do events like Iron Chef. I think it's almost totally run by volunteers.
I bet it is, yeah, good.
And then we also use volunteers for office things. We tend to do making a lot of items and things for the classrooms because we like to make our own materials as much as we can. So we incorporate volunteers in every aspect of our work.
Well, we're out of time, Marissa, so thank you so much. I learned a lot, and you're doing terrific work there, so keep it up, and I hope you have a great turnout at the Iron Chef, and thanks so much for being on here.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching this segment of Community Hotline. We'll be right back in just a few minutes, so please don't go away. And if you'd like more information about the Children's Relief Nursery, their website is on your screen, so be sure to check it out.